Okay, I'm going to show you how to replace a gooseneck swivel. Now, properly installed, a gooseneck swivel should make this kind of turn and be fairly close to the opening in the flange here. This one is set up for right-handed rewinding. If you had it set up for left-handed rewinding, the gooseneck would come in from the other direction. The curve would be over here, but the replacement procedure is the same either way. Now, what we're gonna have to do here is we're gonna have to disconnect the garden hose that's stored on the reel. We're gonna have to disconnect that and we're gonna have to pull it all the way off the reel. The reason for that is because of the distance here, lining up the threads on the swivel with the threads on the axle. At the same time you're trying to connect this hose right here, it just doesn't work. There's just too much torque. There's one's pulling one the other way and it's almost impossible to get the threads lined up. So basically, we're just gonna have to go back to when you first assembled the reel, the swivel was installed first on the axle, then you brought some excess hose through that opening, attached it to the swivel out here, and then brought it back into this position. So that's what we're gonna have to do. Okay, so we've got the hose pulled all the way off the reel. Step number 2, loosen the hose strap that's securing the hose to the reel. And you just take your Phillips screwdriver and loosen that hose strap. If you got a cordless drill, it'll go a little faster. But you want to loosen it enough to where you can pull some slack out of the hose, pull some of that hose through so you can pull some slack. Step number 3 is pull that slack back through the opening in the flange here. Kind of pull the gooseneck away from the flange a little bit so you don't scrape your flange. Now that you got some excess hose in here, go ahead and remove the garden hose from the gooseneck. All right. Okay, so now we can remove the swivel from the axle. Once we do that, go ahead and pull that out and unscrew it from the inlet hose. Okay. Now, all right, now go ahead and put your new swivel on. Okay. Now, when you put the new swivel on, make sure that the gooseneck is kind of rotated so it doesn't hit the flange. So basically you just reverse the process then. Oops. There we go. If you want to use a couple pair of pliers to make sure you get this really tight so that connection doesn't leak. Make sure your cam lever brake is lined up with the slot as you put it back together. Push everything in, slide your axle. So we're going to want to attach the swivel to the axle first before we reattach the garden hose. And again, just take your time. Sometimes this aluminum nut doesn't want to start right away. Just work with it until you get it aligned. And it'll rotate about 2.5 full rotations to tighten down. Oh, the cam lever was holding me out. There we go. Okay, so that'll tighten down. Now again, pull your excess hose out here so it's a lot easier to get your fitting and your gooseneck aligned. It's a lot easier to do it out here than right up tight against the flange. And this is why we had to pull all the hose off the reel in the first place, so we could loosen that strap. Tighten that down firmly. Now you can pull it back around, get it realigned with the slot, pull the excess back through the hose strap. Now all you gotta do is retighten the hose strap, roll your hose back in, and you're ready to go.